गुटखा खाया कभी आपने? एंटी चाइना पॉलिसी है आपकी? क्या What? अभी कह रही थी पॉलिटिक्स बात नहीं करनी।
I think it was a witch hunt. I wouldn't have said fuck you, but I'm here to stay. Don't talk like a fool.
अच्छे पिछे ने पेशा दे।
प्राण दायर किया। पैसे पेड़ पे थोड़ी उगते हैं।
पर आपके पास बहुत है।
गड़ी मुर्दे नहीं उखाड़ना है।
अगर मुर्दे हो ही गए तो क्या फर्क पड़ता है? उखाड़ो या फेंको।
They were willing to back the film as long as I was not in it.
What studio is this? फोन करो सिद्धार्थ जी को पता लगाओ।
नहीं। I would have sat with my feet on top.
रखो।
पर
मेरे को
heels पहना दिए मुझे।
उतार दो उसमें क्या है? I can help you with it.
तो गुंडी की तरह बैठना है।
जैसे बैठना बैठो यार।
I remember one of my neighbors telling me, "You're so pretty. Why don't you lose some weight?"
Who told this to Vidya Balan?
Yeah.
Who did this?
Today, also because of social media, sometimes you flirt with the idea of being with someone else.
ठीक है, I found an opportunity for you to have my number.
I'll take it, don't worry. He's going to tell me I did it once and you spoke about it in an interview. प्यार कभी कम नहीं करना, कोई सितम कर लेना.
I'm very starstruck right now.
How can I help?
सवाल सुनते ही आपको कुछ हो जाता है।
क्या करूं, कब तोड़
तोड़ दो।
Yeah!
बस इतना ही बताना था कि भाई ये वाली वीडियो भी मिस्टर वुडलैंड भाई साहब ने पावर की है। तो भाई वेलकम टू अनफिल्टर्ड, अपना ही चैनल का नाम में क्या? वेलकम टू अनफिल्टर्ड बाय समदीज FT डॉट विद्या बालन, पावर्ड बाय वुडलैंड। Oh, I'm sorry.
Hi.
Hi. Hello.
Hi.
Everyone clap for her, yaar.
Thank you. But how amazing that you were doing Omkar.
Yeah, I mean,
To center yourself, you do it.
हाँ मैं दिसंबर में एक एक्टिंग वर्कशॉप में गया था।
हाँ.
And there we were given a riyaz to do every day. And
Omkar.
ever since then, I mean, it's a 5-step process. One of the breathing exercises to do the ohms. Yes.
Lovely.
Yeah.
And you're from Delhi?
I am from Delhi.
But you come down for the interviews?
Yes. Pardon me for being a little starstruck.
Please.
I'm very starstruck right now.
How can I help?
Just be honest, just be
Yeah,
unfiltered.
absolutely.
And if I happen to video call my mother in the middle of the interview, just be friendly with her.
Yes.
What kind of mood are you in today?
Talk about anything except
Okay.
politics.
Okay. Why?
पॉलिटिक्स से बहुत डर लगता है, फिर हमको बैन वैन कर देंगे तो फिल्म।
और ये कब हुआ कि आपका ये डर?
नहीं मेरे साथ नहीं हुआ है थैंकफुली, पर आई थिंक नाउ एक्टर्स वियर फ्रॉम टॉकिंग अबाउट पॉलिटिक्स
Yeah.
because you don't know who will get offended, you know, especially around a release. It's the work of 200 people at stake, so I just say keep me away from politics.
क्या ये लैंडस्केप बदलते हुए आपने अपने ही करियर स्पैन में देखा या उस जब आप इंडस्ट्री में उससे पहले भी ऐसा ही था?
नहीं अभी ऐसे हो रहा है। आई थिंक सोशल मीडिया की वजह से ना लोग हर चीज का बुरा मान जाते हैं ना, जब उनको समझ भी नहीं होती कि क्या सब्जेक्ट पे बात हो रही है, तभी भी विशेष टिप्पणी देना बहुत जरूरी समझते हैं। सो आई थिंक दैट्स अ वेरी स्कैरी सिनेरियो, यू नो। तो चुप बैठो, अपना काम करो और सटक लो।
पर ऐसी चीजें तो होती हैं क्या? असद इज समथिंग अ प्रॉब्लम? तो आ जाइए असद, बता दीजिए क्या है। आई थिंक समथिंग विद द ऑडियो।
ओह okay, we'll have to change the jhumkas.
Does it happen often that you have to change your jhumkas for interviews?
Actually bangles, so we've stopped doing any bangles or kadhas now.
अच्छा.
Because they keep saying कि आवाज आ रही है। तो आज we thought we were being smart, but he had an option.
आपका बर्थडे सच में 1 जनवरी को आता है?
हाँ,
Okay.
जहाँ तक मुझे पता है।
How many people in your team taking care of you?
Makeup, hair, my manager.
Makeup and hair is different?
Yeah, different.
Okay. Hi.
My stylist,
Okay.
my manager, my publicist, and an assistant who gives me tea,
6.
coffee. 6.
Wonderful.
Yeah, we can start whenever you want.
ये भी सब भी रोल ही हो रहा था।
Oh, अच्छा।
This is the
Oh,
channel.
this is a format. Okay.
This is the vibe. आपको कुछ भी करना हो, you can take calls also.
Oh, really?
If important people call you in the middle of this interview,
नहीं, फिर मैं
please.
पानी जरूर पीऊंगी।
ये आपके लिए है, पानी है। हाँ.
ठीक
This is
है।
not gin at all. गोभी मंचूरियन खाया कभी आपने? ये पहले क्यों नहीं, मैं इंटरव्यू करता ही ना अगर आपको पसंद होता, अगर मुझे पहले पता होता ना।
I love gobi manchurian, पर अब तो I can't have manchurian.
हाँ, आप तो फ्राइड खाते ही नहीं।
नहीं नहीं, फ्राइड की वजह से नहीं, because of Chinese food.
एंटी चाइना पॉलिसी है आपकी? क्या मतलब? What? अभी कह रही थी पॉलिटिक्स बात नहीं करनी।
MSG सूट नहीं होता।
अच्छा, ओके।
तो-
हैव यू सीन एनी ऑफ द MSG फिल्म्स?
No, I've seen that song. You are my love charger. You are my love charger.
MSG
Yeah.
Messenger. You
Yeah.
haven't seen the trailer? Have you seen the credit roll of his films?
Yeah, yeah.
हाँ, जानते हो
have.
ना आप आपकी इंडस्ट्री का लेजेंड कौन है असली?
Yeah,
ये
yeah, yeah.
शाहरुख सलमान तो कुछ नहीं है उस नाम।
हाँ, बिल्कुल. But where he's disappeared?
जेल में ना, बाबा राम रहीम इज जेल।
Oh,
उनको बेल मिलती रहती है।
that's what I thought.
बट he's in jail. He's in jail, no कार्तिक?
Still?
हाँ, पैरोल वही।
हाँ.
या वरना तो आती रहती, फिल्में आती रहती, ऑस्कर्स मिल जाते हैं।
I showed it to my nephew. Because he made me hear a song called I don't give a shit. Have you heard that song?
No,
Oh
no.
my God, you have to hear that. Just Google as in on YouTube, put I don't give a shit. And it's been sung by a Punjabi singer. And we were tripping on that, and I said, wait, I'll make you hear this. And he was like, what? You are my love charger. What is this? I said, it's better than you don't give a shit.
It is. उससे better कुछ भी नहीं है।
Yeah.
Has your relationship with money changed? Of course it has.
It has.
What is it right now?
I love money.
ये हुई ना बात।
हाँ.
बात तो अब शुरू हुई।
Yeah. I love money. And
Like how much do you love it?
I love it. I think I've also come to a new realization, understanding of money. That the more you love yourself, the more money you'll attract.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. So I love money. Because I love myself a lot.
It's coming in, huh? Can you tell me the number, not your net worth, but what kind of numbers do you guys play with? Like you and like, I mean, in terms of how much is offered to you for films, and we don't have to go there. You can say no.
Yeah, I think this.
ठीक है, चलो एक बार तो बोला. There's another subject I want to talk about. And I don't want to talk about it because I'm interviewing a female actor. I often ask male actors and filmmakers about their consumption of porn.
Oh, I don't.
Okay.
And I honestly have never enjoyed the idea of porn, I have to be honest.
Okay.
Because I don't want to see two other people do it. If it's
But if it's shot well.
if it's in a film, right?
Yeah.
And there's a nice sex scene, beautifully shot.
yeah.
But there's a story there, right? Then I don't mind it.
Then I think you should be recommended better forms of porn.
नहीं, but I've not really watched porn also, I have to be honest.
ठीक है.
थोड़ा बहुत जो देखा है मुझे, थोड़ा बहुत मतलब एक आध सीन देखा होगा, उससे मुझे, you know,
Repulsion ही हो गई.
yeah, not repulsion. I felt like the woman was only body.
Yeah.
And the man is also, it's just about the sex. I've heard that there are films with good stories and all that. But
हाँ, मतलब majority of porn is what you just described. But there are, like in any universe, there are alternate voices in the porn industry also. So
but it's not something that will turn me on, I think.
got it.
Porn would be to turn you on, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think that
I
would
would
turn
imagine,
me on.
yes.
Yeah. So then, which is why I think I don't watch porn. I'm sure lots of people do.
But as the relationship with your body has changed, has the relationship with sex per se has changed?
I've always enjoyed sex.
But has it become better?
For sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Have you been more open in exploring your preferences more?
I've always been, I have to be very honest.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
I've always had a voice where it mattered.
When you came in, I thought I'll call you Bidya. And I'll play a word game where I'll call you Bidya Valan. Because that film, I haven't seen the second part. And not because I don't think it'll be good, but I just haven't seen the second part. My brother was a part of the editing team of the first film. My mother is a huge fan. And I've been
really?
told to specially talk about Kahani.
अरे वाह.
That's, man, वैसी फिल्म नहीं बनती. और वैसी performances भी देखने को नहीं मिलती. That is a anomaly in how films are made.
And if I tell you, Samdesh, how that film got made, na? you know how it is. Your previous film determines how much money you'll get for your next film,
Okay.
right? Especially as a director. And Shujoy had just had, I think,
Aladdin?
two flops in a row.
Aladdin and Home Delivery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, it was difficult for him to put together a film, but he was really passionate about it. We connected because I feel almost quasi-Bengali.
Why
you
is
know?
that though? We'll come back to Sujoy, but why
Yeah.
is that?
I don't know. My mother says maybe you were born in your past life or something, but I cannot tell you how comfortable I am in everything Bengali. Right from school, I would learn Bengali from my friends who were Bengali.
अच्छा.
And I remember learning a song way back in school from one of my friends,
इस स्कूल का क्या नाम था?
St. Anthony's in Chembur
ठीक है.
convent.
उस गाने का नाम याद है जो 8वीं में याद किया था?
हाँ हाँ.
वो बताओ. Am I on the sets of Parinita suddenly?
Yeah. Then, of course, I got my first break in Bengali. I was, after 3 years, you know, I'd begun to, मेरा confidence जो है डगमगा रहा था.
Correct.
And at that time, I met Pradeep Sarkar. And then he began to prepare me for Parinita. But in the meantime, I got a Bengali film.
Yeah.
Bharut Eko. Dinesh Raut got me in touch with Gautam Haldar, who's a director. And he said, this is a story, I'm sending you the script. I read the script, कुछ मुझे समझ में नहीं आया, because as in I didn't know how to read a script, right? It was my very first.
Sure.
I was just happy that I was getting a film to do in the land of Ray. And I went ahead and did the film. Dada was very upset with me about that also. Because he said, I'm preparing you for your big
पहली
break. and
फिल्म
your-"
आपने परिणीता नहीं की.
हाँ.
इस वजह से वो नाराज तो होंगे ही.
So, but मेरा ये था कि there have been so many misses between the
You just wanted to get it.
cup and the lip that I said, अगर ये फिल्म मुझे मिल रही है तो मैं करना चाहती हूँ.
Your favorite Ray film?
Everyone says Charulata, but mine actually is. How can I forget? I have a poster of that in my room.
फोन करो सिद्धार्थ जी को पता लगाओ.
No. Yeah, it's my favorite film. What's happening to me?
देवी.
No.
महानगर.
Mahanagar. Mahanagar. I
Amazing
love
film.
that film. And I have a poster of that right next to my dressing table.
I also felt like it might be Charulata for you.
Yeah, no.
Because you are Charulata.
Yeah, that's
Aren't
what I've
you?
been told. I've got a massive poster of Charulata that my husband gifted me that I put up on a wall. And I have to tell you that when I was doing advertising, the first time I heard of Madhavi Mukherjee was I was doing an ad with Nomita and Shubir from this production house, White Light. They're very respected directors.
ठीक है.
And, you know, suddenly Nomita turned to me and said, oh, you look so much like Madhavi Mukherjee. And I said, who's that? And she said, you don't know, she was Ray's heroine in quite a few films. She was his muse, and they made some lovely films together. So after that, I went and watched it. And then when I met Pradeep Sarkar also, he kept saying Madhavi Mukherjee. So he actually cast us together in a Shubha Mudgal music video as grandmother and
are you
granddaughter.
saying?
Yes. So I met Madhavi Mukherjee in her house.
क्या
And
बात कर रहे हो यार?
Yeah, and I still remember Dada, Pradeep Sarkar, his wife, one of his assistants, Lynn, and me had gone to meet Madhavi ji. And when we entered the house, I was wearing these big sunglasses. And then we went and got introduced to her and all that. And then she showed us her old pictures. And in one of the pictures, she was wearing the exact same pair of sunglasses. And it was strange. You know, anyway, I was telling you that Siddharth gifted me this poster. And I put it up on the wall. And the day it was put up, my house help passed by and stopped, said, दीदी ये कौन सी पिक्चर है आपकी? I said, मेरी नहीं है. Because it's written in
And I would say
Bengali.
now more than ever.
Sorry, now,
हाँ,
yeah.
Because I met you today, ये भी हो सकता है. But
Yeah.
dude, you
Yeah.
are Charulata. उसमें कोई doubt हो नहीं सकता.
I'm flattered because I would have loved to work with Ray.
Yeah.
At least I look like his muse.
But Mahanagar. Anyway, Bengali connection, Sujoy. We're back to Sujoy.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Shujoy was...
अच्छा, Sujoy, sorry.
नहीं, Sujoy.
I'm a Punjabi, I can do this.
Yeah.
कहानी के बारे में बात होनी थी.
Yeah. So Shujoy and I were talking about a few ideas to do a film together. I liked him. He's a mad, quirky Bengali.
मुझे झंकार बीट्स बहुत पसंद है.
Ah, it's such a lovely film, no?
I fight with my friend saying दिल चाहता है से ऊपर है झंकार बीट्स. कोई मेरी बात मानता नहीं है.
I'm going to call Shujo and tell him that.
Dude.
He narrated a few ideas to me, and we were meeting often those days. He would say, okay, what about this? And I'd say, yeah, okay, not so great. But when he narrated the idea of, I think I was at the shoot of Pa,
Okay.
if I'm not mistaken. And he was also at Film City, and he called me and he said, listen, I want to discuss something with you. And we were coming back. We were going in the same direction. So we drove back together, and he said, ye hai idea. And I said, I love it. What are you doing? Just write it. He wrote it, and what he did is with every literally scene that he wrote, he would share it with me. So I felt like I was part of the writing process. So it's a very special film for me in more ways than one. So I was constantly telling him, acha, yeah, this is sounding great. Maybe this is not. And then he would, rework it a little or whatever. Or he would say, nay, but I feel it's absolutely okay, whatever. It was a collaborative process, but he wrote it completely. Then when we were ready, he went to one producer after the other, and people kept saying no. And then finally, there was one studio that said they were willing to back the film as long as I was not in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
What studio is this?
I wish I could name these people for you, but unfortunately,
I won't put
can't.
it in the edit, please. Vidya ji, please.
गरीब मुर्दे नहीं उखाड़ना है उखाड़ने पर
अगर मुर्दे हो ही गए तो क्या फर्क पड़ता है उखाड़ो या फेंको
वो कुछ लोग जिंदा मुर्दे होते हैं
ऐसे मैंने कभी देखे नहीं अगर एक का एग्जांपल दे देंगे तो मजा आ जाएगा
So I'll tell you after the cameras are off. But
you can text it to me.
Done.
Yeah.
I'll do that. मेरा फोन मेरे पास नहीं है अभी.
ठीक है. I found an opportunity for you to have my number.
I'll take it. Don't worry. So I said, he came and told me this, and I said, you must go ahead and make the film because it's a brilliant script. And he said, no, but I don't want to make it without you. And I said, but listen, you have to be practical. Because already I had seen Pradeep Sarkar go through the same thing on Parinita, because Vinod Chopra was getting the biggest of female stars to act in the film, and Dada was stuck on me. But finally, he therefore, credit to Vinod Chopra, he gave me the opportunity to test and retest, and finally said, okay, you are my Parinita, But in this case, I was like, I was already established by now. So I said, please go ahead and make it. He didn't. And in that interim, we got a very shoestring budget from Jayanti Lal Gada of Penn. We went ahead, we worked our asses off to make that film within budget. But we made it, we enjoyed the process so much.
It does seem like that. It penetrates to the audience.
Yes, I cannot tell you how much I remember every single day of shoot on that film.
That film can compete with any international film, is what I think. वो कुछ next level है.
And no, but also because you can see Shujoy's intelligence in that film.
Yeah.
A lot of times I think the films don't do justice to his intelligence. And this was one film where I felt that, this is Shujoy for you in flesh and blood, actually.
I really love Home Delivery also.
Yeah,
Home Delivery
it was quirky. It was.
तो quirk है.
It is quirky.
Yeah, dude.
What is that cleavage Kumari,
महिमा चौधरी का क्या character है? And that one step that everyone keeps falling from.
Yeah, crazy.
That's Shujoy.
But that's Shujoy for you.
Yeah. What was a lot of time I struggle with actors and try and find out their process of getting into a character. And I often find myself lacking in terms of how to ask it. Some people just open up themselves. And so that's my dilemma, that's my question. And that is where I would like you to talk about now. Whichever character you want to. But I would assume that a film like Kahani requires a more internal process.
Strangely, there was no process for Kahani. Because I knew the script like the back of my hand. I knew the character as she was coming into her own. as she was being created.
And so that became your process, I'm
Yeah,
assuming.
so unknowingly, that was my process. So for Kahani, everyone says, so what was your prep like? And I'm like, for Kahani, I actually didn't do any prep.
And for what film do you think you had to prep, like in terms of what you mean by the word?
I think The Dirty Picture, because it was a shift in. See, as an actor, I knew I could do it, but I've always been inhibited by my body, and not in terms of performance, but in terms of what I wore, and I've always been conscious of my body. Sure. Right? So when The Dirty Picture happened, I was dying for an opportunity like that. And yet, the only thing that scared me was wearing those short clothes and those cleavage revealing clothes, and then to be dancing like that, heaving bosom and all that, I never, when I imagined myself as an actor, I never imagined doing any of that stuff. So I was like, wow, this is my opportunity, पर ये कैमरा के सामने करना पड़ेगा और ये लोग देखेंगे, ऐसा नहीं है कि आप आईने के सामने करके आप निकल जाओगे. So I think that was, and I had to smoke. And
you hadn't smoked before that?
No, I had smoked before that.
But on camera was...
Yeah.
Because you didn't want people to know that you can smoke or you do smoke?
No, not that. It's just like I knew how to smoke, but I didn't really smoke. You know what it is?
Got it.
But as a character, you can't just fake it.
Yeah, Silk owns it.
Yeah, exactly.
And so you had to own it.
So I couldn't have that jijak, because there is a certain perception about women who smoke. Much less now.
Sure.
Far more before.
Do you smoke?
No, I don't. Though I don't know if I should say this on camera, though actually I enjoy smoking.
You have said it on camera now.
Yeah. No, but you know what I mean? If you told me...
Your favorite cigarette कौन सी?
ऐसी कोई नहीं है.
ठीक है. But you were saying, ऐसी कोई नहीं है. इनको कोई भी brand जमता है. ऐसे light से ultra mild तक.
But you know what I mean? I've always found it very... I enjoy smoking. So if you told me there's no harm that the cigarette will do to you, then I would have become a smoker.
Consequences से डर लगता है.
I love the smell of smoke. Actually, it's that. So even at bus stops and all, in my college days, I used to go and stand next to people smoking. And I'd do this. So it was very... I don't know, just her journey was heartbreaking. To put yourself out there physically as the character needed absolute a sense of fearlessness, shamelessness, and I don't mean this badly, but abandon.
No, but unapologetically,
yeah, unapologetically, yeah. I had to, मुझे ये था कि कहीं भी झिझक महसूस नहीं होनी चाहिए. So I feel that was a lot of preparation here. I would go to Milan's office.
Okay.
And I'd say, okay, can we talk about the character? And he'd say, actually, I have a meeting to go to. But just remember, if you judge her, people will judge her. कह के वो निकल जाते हर बार. And I'd be like, what? Why does he not want to talk? But I cannot tell you. I don't think he could have given me better cue to be Silk than that.
Cigarette कभी पी life में कोई ऐसा phase रहा जब cigarette पी रहे थे काफी?
हाँ, phase रहा है.
ठीक है. केड़ा phase थी? कुछ दस तो यार.
No, I think after The Dirty Picture, because वो आदत लग गई.
लगनी है.
हाँ.
ठीक है, जितना बोलना चाहो, जितना आप comfort में बोलना चाहो.
नहीं, पर वही है, उतना ही है.
But how many a day was it?
2-3
packets a day.
नहीं. 2, 3, 4.
ठीक है. 100. Did that owning your body and owning yourself and owning your choices and owning your body, I'm guessing that film informed Vidya Balan the person also.
Oh, most definitely. It liberated me. It made me feel like I was being called sexy after the film. And I was bearing it all in that film, right?
Yeah, totally.
And I said, acha, so if people think I'm sexy like this because I felt sexy at that point, I said it has nothing to do with your size. So that really freed me. And then, of course, it's been a process, you know. It's there are ups and downs when sometimes you're not feeling great health-wise. It doesn't matter what size or shape and all you are. Then you just don't feel good about yourself. When you don't get enough rest, when you don't get enough time to cherish things, I think you learn these things only with experience and age, yeah.
Sure. That wisdom does come with one's own experience. गुटखा खाया कभी आपने?
नहीं.
मेरा एक दोस्त जिसके साथ ना मैं ड्रिंक कर रहा था संडे को, उसने मुझे बोला कि यार तुम विद्या बालन से सिगरेट अल्कोहल पूछोगे मुझे पता है,
हाँ
उनसे गुटखा पूछना
नहीं।
और उनके मुंह का जो एक्सप्रेशन बनेगा ना वो देखना।
नहीं गुटखा
But why do we look down upon gutka and not on cigarette and alcohol? Is what he wanted me to ask you.
because I think it's just chewing tobacco has never been cool. Even cigarettes have tobacco. I don't think that's cool either. But I'm saying कि I don't know. It's just टेस्ट भी अच्छी नहीं होती होगी उसकी.
आपने कभी ट्राई किया?
नहीं.
तो फिर कैसे बोल
पर
दिया?
मुझे लगता है कि उसका टेस्ट तो अच्छा हो ही नहीं सकता.
वही तो वो परसेप्शन बनाई गई है ना हमारे लिए.
हाँ.
गुटके के साथ गलत हुआ है.
But listen, I don't like the taste of alcohol.
Oh,
I don't like the taste of alcohol at all.
Like a good whiskey sour on an LIT or
Whiskey तो मैंने कभी पी नहीं.
तो क्या पिया?
I've had vodka, I've had tequila, I've had champagne.
आपसे स्मोकअप का मैं सवाल नहीं पूछ सकता, मैं अज्यूम कर रहा हूँ
नहीं,
कि जहाँ लीगल है वहाँ नहीं. ठीक है, we don't talk about that.
No, not just that.
Oh,
I
never. Come on विद्या जी.
No, really.
Seriously,
Never.
आपके आसपास जॉइंट तो फूकते होंगे लोग कभी-कभी?
नहीं.
ठीक है.
मेरी टीम में तो कोई नहीं फूकता.
ठीक है.
और मेरी फैमिली में तो दूर दूर तक नहीं.
हाँ, मम्मी पापा तो नहीं फूकते, हमारे भी नहीं फूकते. सेम पिंच. सरनेम चेंज करने का सोचा या कभी सोचा ही नहीं?
नहीं, I was very clear.
Wonderful. इतनी क्लैरिटी होनी चाहिए.
हाँ. And Siddharth was also like, he said, yeah.
मतलब he could have changed it.
Yeah.
He chose not
Yeah,
to.
exactly.
He chose not to. Why is he still Roy Kapoor? I have problems with it.
Yeah, really. Me too. I like your crochet pocket.
Thank you, Ji. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, she gave me a compliment, guys. Come, everyone clap for me. Oh man. आप किस क्लास में बड़े हो रहे थे? How would you categorize your own
Middle
house and your
class.
family?
Middle
If you
class.
could paint a picture of that house in which you grew up.
So it was a one-bedroom house.
ठीक है.
Largish house, but it was a one-bedroom house. But
ठीक है.
we never felt like today when you think of a one-bedroom house, they don't even make one-bedroom houses anymore. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
But in those days, if especially for people who've come from out of Bombay, like my father came here at the age of 16. He's been here since he was
Okay. He came from where?
from Kerala.
अच्छा.
I think especially for us, it was like Bombay में घर है, मुंबई में घर है, बहुत बड़ी बात है.
You guys were tenants or you guys owned the house? आप लोगों का
We
घर था?
owned the house.
ठीक है. क्या आपको पता है वो घर कितने का खरीदा था?
I
पता तो हो गई.
हाँ, I think 67 या 69,000 में
Okay.
खरीदा था
ठीक है.
चेंबूर में, and it was a big deal कि the family felt so proud कि you know मुंबई जाने के कुछ ही सालों में बालन ने घर खरीद लिया है.
ठीक है.
बहुत बड़ी बात है. And amongst us, we are the Palakkad Iyer community.
हाँ.
You know what they call famously the Tamgrams.
Of course.
We are Tamilians from Kerala.
Okay.
My father's entire family was already in Mumbai. And once you had a house in Mumbai, then you had achieved everything there was to achieve.
आज भी शायद ये सच है.
आज भी शायद बिल्कुल ये सच है, पर आजकल लोग घर खरीद नहीं रहे हैं. They're renting.
Your favorite thing about your father?
About my father?
Yeah.
That he's a man of great integrity.
और इसका एक एग्जांपल दे सकें कि इंटेग्रिटी कहाँ दिखी है आपको?
I remember मैं छोटी थी और वो ऑफिस से बस लेकर आ रहे थे. एंड यू नो कभी कभी आपके पास चेंज नहीं होती, तो उन्होंने कंडक्टर से कहा, कंडक्टर को पैसे दिए और कंडक्टर ने कहा होगा नहीं चेंज नहीं है, चेंज लाओ. सो और फिर मेरे पापा का स्टॉप आ गया तो वो उतर गए बिना पैसे दिए और वो भूल गए. यू नो समटाइम्स होता है. Then the next day when the conductor saw him, he said, "ए बिना पैसे दिए गए." तो my father followed that bus, and he lost track of the bus because by the time he got an auto and he actually got, as in he lost track of the bus, so he couldn't find the bus. But he tracked the bus down to the bus depot. He went and said कि कौन सी ये बस है जो इस रूट से आती है, इस नंबर की बस, मतलब किस टाइम पे यहाँ आती है, मुझे उस कंडक्टर से मिलना है. कंडक्टर को उन्होंने पैसे दिए एंड ही सेड, "आई एम सो सॉरी, आई डिडंट मीन टू चीट यू, मैं भूल गया." सो दीज लिटिल थिंग्स.
Got it. And उनकी सबसे फेवरेट शर्ट कौन सी है आपकी?
For me, my father looks good in all his
All
shirts.
right, all right.
But I think
कुछ एक कपड़ा होगा जिसमें अच्छे नहीं लगते होंगे, वो कौन सा है? जो आप
नहीं, ऐसा मुझे नहीं लगता.
Okay.
But I love my father the most in his सफेद धोती कुर्ता.
Okay.
जो रोज रात को वो पहनते हैं
sure.
घर पे, या जब भी घर पे होते हैं, he wears that and I just feel like going and snuggling up to him.
What about a habit you don't like of him?
Oof,
हाँ.
I'm very similar to him. तो बहुत सारी ऐसी आदतें हैं
आपकी
जो
क्या
मुझे-
आदतें हैं विद्या? Now let's start talking.
We both are I get it from him.
हाँ.
Very organized.
Okay.
Organized to the extent that now I'm a little easier. पहले ऐसा था कि अगर मेरे हिसाब से चीजें नहीं चलती ना, तो I would get very thrown off because I'm very particular about where my stuff should be. I don't let anyone. My house help actually folds the clothes that.
How big is your wardrobe? I'm guessing that'll be huge, no?
No, it's not very huge actually. It's not at all huge compared to most other women and definitely other actors.
Okay.
But I am a minimalist. I have to say that I don't possess too many things.
But how big is your wardrobe?
अरे,
मुझे नहीं पता. Give me an estimate.
it must be half this wall.
Okay, got it.
But it's not filled with stuff.
ठीक है.
Like मुझसे सब पूछते रहते हैं कि आपके पास साड़ियाँ कितनी हैं, because मैं साड़ी बहुत पहनती हूँ. I have 25 sarees.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it. Because
I think I have more, dude. सिर्फ 25 साड़ियाँ आपके पास?
I keep giving away sarees.
Okay.
Because मैं रख के क्या करूँगी? I don't get a chance to repeat my sarees. So the ones that I've kept are ones that have some sort of emotional meaning to me.
तो आपकी और उनकी सबसे irritating habit है कि you are too finicky about organizing.
Too finicky to the extent that sometimes previously I was also like him, but consciously I've changed because he expects that from everyone else. That's not good. I was also like that. I used to also expect that everyone be as organized and
And it used to
methodical.
translate into anger?
Irritation with people,
Okay.
right? Impatience की इतना क्यों नहीं मतलब आप दिखा भी नहीं सकते half the time, पर वो अंदर ही अंदर चलता रहता है dialogue. But now I've learned to live and let live. Luckily for me, Samdesh, my husband and I are quite similar.
Okay.
So thankfully we don't clash on those things. I'm a little OTT still. मतलब मेरा level थोड़ा ज़्यादा है, पर being with him, he's so calm, na? He doesn't get thrown by anything I say. So I've also learned to calm down. But I've realized that to each his own. Just because these are my habits, I can't expect you to do the same.
तो ये process was there a conscious process of making sure that you don't snap or you don't?
Yeah, because you know
don't
what
react?
was happening is, especially in a workspace, you realize that you can't. I grew up wanting to please people,
Okay.
right? Because I was a fat girl. So with fat people, and especially with fat girls, I think, you are over eager to please people, right?
All right,
So
yeah.
you don't show your anger, you don't show your irritation. फिर वो क्या होता है? वो अंदर ही अंदर irritation build करके acidity बन जाती है.
ठीक है.
या सर दर्द बन जाता है,
Of course, of course.
So, which is why I realized, and I've been working with a healer for 13 years now.
Okay. What does that mean?
So basically, it's like therapy.
ठीक है.
It happens over the phone from wherever I am in the world.
है.
But I meet her like once a year or something.
How often are the sessions?
As often as I want them to be.
But,
As in, I have to message and say, can
And
we do a session?
what about currently? How often are the sessions?
I did one today on my way here.
How's that? How's that?
Lovely.
Yeah?
Lovely. I just sometimes, like I saw you doing the Omkar before we started this session. For me, it's sometimes when things happen, I like to talk about it so I can process it.
Sure.
And she just, I think she guides me to reach that space where I realize things. She doesn't say anything really to me, but she's also given me various tools over the years. I don't know if you've heard of access consciousness. How, for example, you can restructure the way you think. You can restructure the way you've led your life, the beliefs you've led your life by restructuring the construction of your sentences. For example, what if should always be followed by a positive sentence, because what if is very powerful. So if you say,
Man, all right. Go, you.
yeah. So
Continue,
if you
continue.
said, no, what if I have a fall? Yeah, I can't wear these heels. That's a wrong thing to say.
Correct.
Right? You instead say, what if I'm always able to be well balanced? it's a very bachkana example,
but-
but you know, so for example, they give you a lot, you learn about things like that with access consciousness. For example,
Oh, you go on.
sorry,
Sorry.
when
No,
you're,
no, you go on.
when you're gauging a reaction to a decision you have to make, your body will tell you. With the right decision, your body will begin to feel lighter. With the wrong decision, your body will feel heavier.
Of course.
So you have to tune into that. So all this comes from access consciousness. They simply put, I think access consciousness, it actually helps you to access your consciousness, your subconscious, and remove the limitations it makes sure that you don't stand in the way of you. My healer's given me many such tools over the years, but I have to say she's the kindest, most compassionate person I've come across, which is why I've been working with her for 13 years. It's my safe space where I can say whatever I want, where there's no judgment. And especially because, you know, Samdesh, I'm actually a very private person. But I'm in a very public job.
Of course.
So I think that took a while to come to terms with. This is what I've always wanted to do, to be an actor. And you know, I've wanted to be famous and I wanted the limelight, but you don't actually know how that's going to play out or pan out. What is it when people want to know more about you, when they want a piece of you? Only after I did Parineeta did I realize what it was. You know, sometimes you'd feel like, oh, but they're not interested in me as a person. They're interested in me as the actor, as a star. So, you know, there is some kind of dissonance there. So I think to make sense of all that, to make sense of the pressures, I've had lots of, I've dealt with body image issues forever.
Have they gone away completely?
I think so.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Congratulations to
Thank
you.
you,
on that.
thank you.
Yes. But go on with the thing that you would say.
So I just think that, you know, healing has really helped me. So whatever rocks your boat, whether it's therapy, whether it's counseling, whether it's healing, I would suggest everyone, if they can afford it, should always speak to someone who is not emotionally invested in you.
Sure. Correct. A space without judgment.
Yeah, and a space where there's no emotional attachment, because that's key. You know, otherwise if I'm, for example, if I'm sharing something with my husband, he will want to,
Bilkul.
you know, jump in and help me, provide a solution. Or even if he's just listening to me, you know, there's that, you feel for the other person, right? For example, if he told me something, I would want to like, literally like provide solutions and say, why don't you try this?
You are yourself invested in that, and so you can't be completely
completely removed from it.
You can't be detached. So was this current healer who seems to have done wonders for you and for us, your fans, is this the first time you interacted with a healer / therapist, or did you have to try multiple people?
No. My mother introduced me to my healer.
Okay.
Because this was just before the dirty picture.
Is the healer also Tambram?
No, she's not.
All right.
She's Punjabi.
Welcome to our world, ma'am.
No, but...
Is your husband also Punjabi?
Oh, mine, yes.
Yeah.
He's half Punjabi. He loves saying he's a Panju. Not Panju.
He's a Punjabi Gujarati.
Jew.
Achha, oh, he's a Jew.
He's Jewish.
He's half Jew?
Yes, his mother's Jewish.
I want to talk to him about the ceasefire in Gaza first.
Yeah.
No laughing on that.
Yeah.
Yes.
No laughing on that. So...
You can laugh on it. It's
No,
fine.
no.
On my channel, you can. So, your mother, Punjabi healer.
Yeah. So she introduced me to this healer.
He's half Jew?
Yeah, he's half Jew.
Dude.
So my mother introduced me to her, and because at that time I was just, you know, going through some...
You were saying after the dirty picture.
This was before the dirty picture.
Okay.
I was just going through some health issues. I was working like crazy. You know, so my mother just said, maybe talk to her. She'll be able to help you. She seems really nice. And that's how it started. I signed up for 5 sessions, and here we are 13 years hence.
Are you the same person with her as you are right now?
Yeah.
I don't believe that.
Yeah.
Not 100%.
No, absolutely.
Is this a performance, a sort of performance or not, is what I want
for sure. When you're... I think when I step out of the house, there's always a Vidya Balan switch that comes on.
ठीक है.
But Am I not being? Am I being authentic? Of course, I'm being
But
authentic.
but only one side of you.
That's what I was going to come
Why?
to. But that is a true side to me. But not all sides get revealed, right? But
ये भी ठीक है.
I don't think anyone gets to see every side of you.
ठीक बात है.
Yeah.
But have you tried pushing the boundary in terms of how much access you give to the camera or to the public of yourself? Or are you happy with where the balance lies?
I
in?
like this balance.
All right, all right. All right.
इतनी दूरी तो maintain करनी पड़ेगी.
ठीक है. But what if they happen to like you more if you give them more access?
I'm very
See
grateful.
how I framed the sentence?
Yeah. No, but I'm very grateful for the love I receive.
Uh-huh.
But this is what I'm comfortable with. If it has to happen beyond this, it'll happen organically.
ठीक है.
I'm not going to manipulate it and say, okay, if I let them in more, then
ठीक है. हाँ.
if I feel comfortable with letting myself, letting my guards down even more at some point, then it'll happen.
Correct. और कभी organically हो रहा होगा तो I'm guessing you won't stop it from happening.
No, not at all.
What troubles you still about yourself?
Nothing.
We've reached there. You've reached there.
No, like my husband says that I'm okay acknowledging everything about myself. I think I do it with my healer and with him. I can see myself just the way I am, and I'm okay with it.
But are there any things that Vidya Balan needs to work on?
Always.
Like what?
Always.
Like give me a thing which will be full of depth now. You can easily say a very light-hearted thing that you need to work on. But something that you need to work on in terms of personality that you are maybe struggling with?
In terms of personality, I think I've begun to be I've begun
Sure.
to be very straightforward, not with regard to work and all, but I'm just saying, if I was upset about something, I would put a lid on it.
I get it.
Not anymore. If something bothers me now, I've begun to say it. I hope the moment something happens, I'd like to call the other person out.
Yeah. And if you're in the moment, you can.
Yeah.
You can.
Exactly.
If you understand, if you have access to your conscience, it was that.
Access consciousness.
Yeah. And that still troubles you sometimes? Not being able to, because you've just begun. And so are there times now also when...
Yeah, when I get angry with myself in those times when I'm not able to be honest. You know?
क्या एक example last क्या हुआ ऐसा कुछ बता सकते हो?
A friend of mine called me and said something to me, making it sound like, he was saying something in my interest, but he wasn't. He was actually making me feel, he was hoping that I would feel bad about myself with what he said. And I saw the truth of that moment in that moment. I didn't call him out on it.
Sure.
But I hung up. I said, I will call you later. But I wish I just stopped him right there and I was able to say, because I think calling out people is very important.
बिल्कुल.
Just call it out and that behavior will change. So people know that they can't get away with rubbish with you, you
उस
know.
वक्त कैसा फील हुआ जब वो बात बोली गई और आपने फोन काटा?
हाँ.
I'm sure physically it felt uncomfortable.
I was angry.
And so
I was actually irritated because I was like, if you want to say something not nice to me, say it, na. Don't couch it.
sure.
So
वो सबसे बुरा होता है.
yeah, I feel don't behave like you're a great person or you're a good person or you're a good friend, and I just feel say it as it is. If it'll make you feel better about yourself to say something not nice to me, say it.
Or find a polite way of saying it.
No, he said it very politely.
ठीक है.
But
it was ostensibly polite. It wasn't really polite.
Yeah.
Like he was putting it in a polite wrapper.
No, I guess sometimes, when we feel bad about ourselves, we want to make someone else feel bad so we feel better. That's what he did that day.
Achha.
And I caught him out on that immediately. But I didn't call him out on it.
You hung up the phone. Have you had the chance to say it to them now?
No, not yet. It's just... When was it? Last night? Night before last? No, I haven't.
अभी बात नहीं हुई है, कर लो
हाँ
कर लो, ये बात सॉल्व करो. इट्स ट्रबलिंग स्टिल? नो, अब तो बहुत छोटी हो गई थी, मैं इतना प्रोब कर रहा हूँ इसलिए बात याद आ गई.
हाँ मुझे I don't think it's troubling me, but I would be very happy with myself if I actually called him out on it.
Yeah, but you can be polite. You shouldn't be so harsh on yourself, and you can give yourself the chance to now confront him.
Yeah, absolutely. No, but at least I've come a long way from not saying anything to saying at least I want to say it.
अच्छा, ऐसा भी होता था कि
Not
सुन
saying
ली
anything.
बातें, सुन
अंदर
ली.
ही अंदर कुड़ती थी कि ऐसे क्यों बोला किसी ने मुझसे.
विद्या, मेरे को ना एक बात सीखनी है आपसे. मैं लाइफ में एक ऐसे पड़ाव पे हूं जहां मुझे माफ करना नहीं आ पा रहा. हाउ डू यू फॉरगिव पीपल? People who have been an integral part of your life, people who've helped you in your growth. How do you forgive?
I think
If the wound is deep and you're hurt,
you know, when you realize that everyone there, some people are in your life for a reason, some people are in your life for a season, some people are in your life for a lifetime, right?
reason, season, lifetime.
Yeah, so agar someone who is very dear to you has hurt you, and therefore I don't know if you've stopped keeping in touch or you've broken relations or whatever. That's how long y'all were meant to be together.
Someone you have to be in touch with. How do you forgive them?
I think then you'll have to do some therapy or healing work. Because healing always happens at an individual level.
Correct.
So you talk about it, you figure it out. Sometimes you'll understand where that person is coming from, why they behave like that. And sometimes maybe you'll realize that therefore you're able to forgive them. And sometimes you'll realize that whatever happens, that person is not going to change. So it hurts. Sorry, touch the mic again. It hurts you. It hurts you, but after a while, the intensity of that hurt goes down. Even with successive behavior, which is hurtful. Because you can't teach math to a buffalo, na? It's the same thing.
सही बात है.
So you realize कि there's that thick-skinned, उनको कभी वो awareness उनमें नहीं आएगी to realize what they're doing to you or what they've done to you. I would always say maintaining a distance is very crucial.
But when do you know, Vidya? When do you know that it's not worth the effort? At what point?
You know.
Because some, of course you know, but like, you know, there's always hope.
Yeah, but you know it. It just takes time for us to act upon it because we're so scared, I think,
नहीं, वो
to
वो
be
fear नहीं
alone,
होना
to be
चाहिए.
abandoned by our loved ones. We feel like we'll end up being alone. You know?
उस fear से तो हटना ही पड़ेगा.
Yeah.
आपको-
But it's easier said than done.
When did you start enjoying solitude? एकांत में कब मजे आने शुरू हो गए?
Always been a loner.
पर वो enjoyable loneliness नहीं होगी, I'm guessing.
No, I've always been very happy being by myself. In between, I got uncomfortable because I thought it was not cool. And now, you know, as you grow up, you think you have to be more social. You have to be. Then I became an actor, and then you're in this job, and you want to please everyone because now you've gotten what you wanted, and now you want to make sure that you still have, like, people still like you because the wound of that, the childhood wound
बिल्कुल.
of the fat girl doesn't go away. So, you know, you're still wanting to keep people close and therefore you'll put up with shit. But, and when I mean shit, it does not have to be big shit, even small. But over time, I realized that I think I've become, this healing journey has made me more and more authentic. I can't emphasize it
किसी एक
enough.
व्यक्ति को सुनते हो spirituality में या फिर अपने आप को ही सुनते हो?
Only अपने आप को. I don't listen to anyone really. I process, I think through my own feelings.
ठीक है.
उससे ही फुर्सत नहीं मिलती तो बाकी क्या करूं?
Favorite sport क्या है आपका?
I'd say I'm not a sporty person at all, but the one sport I enjoy watching is tennis.
All right. Who's your favorite tennis player?
Used to be Federer, now it is Djokovic.
अच्छा.
Yeah,
Federer से छलांग मार के Djokovic.
Yeah, now because Federer is,
हाँ,
yeah,
ठीक बात है.
But Djokovic, I think maybe it's reflective of some change in me also. But I
He has no fucks to
admire-
give. He has no fucks to give.
Yeah, I love that. You know, he's so bullheaded about winning.
And Federer was a people pleaser.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
And Djokovic is, I don't give a fuck. I'm going to win.
Yeah. But Federer was balletic, you
ठीक
know,
बात
when
है।
he played. It
Yeah.
felt like वो कभी कोई effort ही नहीं दिखा उसमें.
That's grace.
Such grace.
Yeah. And why?
Softness, gentleness, you know.
आपका favorite tennis tournament? Which Grand Slam is your favorite? Have you
Wimbledon. I've been to two, Wimbledon twice.
have you seen a final?
Yes, I
किस
have.
कौन सा final देखा है?
I watched the Federer Murray final
अच्छा ठीक है।
in 2011, I think.
12 या 11 हाँ
11
या
या 12.
Yeah, yeah.
And last year,
अच्छा।
Djokovic and the Spanish guy,
हाँ नाम मुझे भी नहीं याद आ रहा। कोई नहीं।
क्या
हटा
हो रहा है
दीजिए।
आज? Superb player.
Yeah.
But
No women's finals? No women's
yes, I
players?
saw
हाँ, फिर?
on Jabber. I
अच्छा।
watched, but I was very disappointed because Ons didn't win.
Yeah.
And we bought tickets at the last minute because Ons was in the finals and then she didn't win. But yeah.
One bad film you're embarrassed about liking. इसको शायद गिल्टी प्लेजर बोलते हैं शायद फैंसी इंटरव्यूअर्स तो गिल्टी प्लेजर बोलते हैं
I'm sure films from the 80s, those, you know, there were some of those Jayaprada Sridevi films.
हिम्मत वाला
No, I'll tell you which film I really liked was a Mithun Chakravarti Madhuri film, which had a lovely song called Pyar Kabhi Kam Nahi Karna. Pyar Kabhi Kam Nahi Karna. कोई सितम कर लेना मर जाएंगे आशिक वरना इतना करम कर लेना. I'm a huge Madhuri fan.
फेवरेट कंट्री इंडिया तो है ही वो तो सबकी नंबर 1 होनी चाहिए पर फेवरेट कंट्री अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट
Japan.
इतनी क्लैरिटी
So clean. अब मैं तो मेरा मन किया कि मैं वहीं रह जाऊं. लोग इतने ऑर्गेनाइज्ड हैं. इट्स माय ड्रीम. जापान इज माय वेट ड्रीम. बिकॉज वहाँ यू नो आई वाज सो सरप्राइज. लोग जहाँ जहाँ जाते अपनी थैलियाँ खुद मतलब कचरे के लिए ले जाते. इवन इफ देर एट अ गेम. आई वाज एट अ हेरिटेज साइट.
Okay.
Right, at one of those old palaces, and people carried, it was a long walk, so you could eat there, but you would eat and put whatever you ate into your own bag and take it back home and trash it. I think that was amazing. There was not
Man.
one dirty loo that I went to, and I'm not just talking 5-star hotels and all.
Yeah.
Just not one. I think it's fabulous. It was amazing.
योर फेवरेट थिंग अबाउट मुंबई
Home. I like everything about Mumbai. The sea, the hustle, the bustle, the craziness, the fact that it's that one place where that gives you the opportunity to make your dreams come true. कितने आते हैं रोज यहाँ, है ना? And it's a kind city.
इज देयर एनीथिंग यू डोंट लाइक
The filth.
मतलब
The filth.
इंसानों के दिलों में या
नहीं
फिर
नहीं 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 नहीं. The filth कि इतनी कूड़ा कितनी जगह पड़ा रहता है ना.
जापान बना दो
Nee, also so many buildings that have been razed and the rubble has not been picked up.
डेबरी पड़ी हुई है
या ये मुझे समझ में ही नहीं आती. मेरा बस चलता तो मैं खुद जाके निकाल देती.
अच्छा बस चले अगर अभी मेरे को पता नहीं आपके पास कितना पैसा है पर अगर फिलैंथ्रोपी जितना पैसा हो
हाँ.
और मुझे पता नहीं आप कितना करते हो मुझे आई हैव नो क्लू सो अगर लेकिन अगर हो जाए 1000 करोड़ या ऑलरेडी होंगे शायद मुझे नहीं पता किस एक चीज पे आप काम करना चाहोगे इफ यू कुड
There are few things. Health, sanitation and education. The three things that I feel most strongly about. Like I keep telling people, if someone asks me for donation to build a religious structure, it can be anything. I never donate. I say if you're building a hospital, a school, or a toilet, I'll happily contribute, but not to any more religious institutions. I'm a very spiritual person. I do my puja every day. I pray. I do all of that, right?
Who do you pray to?
Just to God,
God.
to that energy. You know, but my favorite form is Ganpati because I love elephants. Also because of the stories you've heard as a child about Ganpati, right?
Sure, sure.
And of course, Devi, Sai Kali, Durga. Love, absolutely love.
But you were saying you are spiritual
Yeah.
and not really religious.
Yeah, I don't follow any rituals as such. I've made my own. Of course, when I pray, there are some shlokas I recite and all that things that I've learned in my childhood from my mother. But I don't follow the do's and don'ts. I'll do exactly what I want. When people say, ye nahi karna chahiye, wo nahi karna chahiye, you know, I don't believe in all this rubbish. I believe in that supreme power. I believe there's a God in every one of us, in everything. It's just an energy.
Should I talk to you about how polarized we've become, or wouldn't want to talk about it?
No,
In terms of religious identity, I don't mean to drag politics into it. Politics aside, but do you see your city, your country slightly more polarized than it was in terms of religion or not? And you can choose to not answer it.
no, but for sure. If you're saying we choose to not answer, depending on what I say, then I'll request you to keep it or not
ठीक
keep
है,
it.
ठीक है, आ
But
जाओ।
let me see where it goes.
ठीक है।
I just feel that we're definitely more polarized.
Okay.
I think as a nation, we did not have a religious identity before. But now I don't know why this. It's not just politics, it's also social media. Because we're all, I think, lost in this world and looking for an identity which we don't have organically. We are looking for things to attach ourselves to. That's what I genuinely feel. So, you know, so everything has become, even this, whether it's religion or it's this wokeness, everything you're suddenly feeling ki, this is who you don't know who you are.
Correct.
Which is why you're going looking for these things.
और कभी कुछ मिल जाता है तो बस उसके लिए लड़ मर जाएंगे।
Yeah, no, but I don't think they're finding that. You know, we all need a sense of belonging. And in this world, I think with the proliferation of social media, I think we're lonelier than ever. So to feel connected to other people, you know, you need to, I think we're just at a very superficial level attaching ourselves to ideas and concepts conveniently. A lot of times I see that people have opinions on things that they don't know anything about. How is that possible? How is that possible? People don't watch films, they comment on it. They don't know what the issue at hand is. I keep saying this. I was out promoting a film called Kahani 2 when demonetization happened, and every journalist has asked me about demonetization. मुझे पता भी नहीं है, आज तक समझ में नहीं आया कि demonetization actually होता क्या है. Besides the fact that they revoked 500 rupee notes overnight. So I think सबको, everyone wants to give an opinion without having an opinion.
और सबको एक दूसरे का जानना भी है कि तू बता इस बारे में क्या ख्याल है।
And then you feel that अच्छा अगर मैं, if I have Samdesh's, if I share Samdesh's opinion, then at least I'll have one person on my side.
Sense of belonging आ जाएगी।
Yeah. I think that's what it is really about. Because you see the world over, the world is polarized today. Sure. It's not just one country. We are all polarized. And even this wokeness, it's woke shit, in my opinion. You know, it's, people are taking up cudgels against things that really, that they have nothing to do with.
Yeah.
You know?
Sure.
और मुझे तो लगता है कि first, you know, help yourself before trying to help everyone else.
That's much more complex, and it requires accepting your own vulnerabilities and accepting your own defeat.
Yeah, and accepting who you are, I guess.
It's much
But I
more
think-
hard work.
Yeah, but everyone wants to tell everyone else what to do. What is the cancel culture?
मजा नहीं आता उसमें।
नहीं, मुझे तो बहुत चिढ़ होती
पर एक पावर का एक फीलिंग आती है यार।
नहीं, but you know this thing of wanting to, you are feeling so out of control that you want to control other people, control their opinions.
Yeah.
Actually, it's the weak who try to control.
Correct.
some
But I'm
nation.
saying it must be a high, no?
I don't see that as a high. Yeah.
But okay.
I've seen, and I'm no, evolved soul or anything, but I've seen greater highs without
But
You know-
if I may, Vidya ji,
Vidya ji.
Vidya ji, yes. If you're given such a character, मैंने ना थोड़ी सी बैक स्टोरी देता हूँ. कुछ साल पहले मामी में ही 5 साल पहले अनुपमा चोपड़ा वाज इंटरव्यूइंग डैरेन एरोनॉफ्स्की. वो आए थे तो बहुत कोई एक आइकॉनिक थिएटर है मुंबई का, उसमें हम लोग जाके हम लोग वो इंटरव्यू सुन रहे थे. एंड एरोनॉफ्स्की सेड फिल्म मेकिंग इज practicing empathy, and I believe it's all the more true for the profession of acting. And so if given a role such as someone who's doing these polarizing things, जो लोगों को अपने ओपिनियन नहीं रखने दे रहा है, या फिर वो वही व्यक्ति है जिस व्यक्ति के बारे में अभी हम बात कर रहे थे, तो क्या आप उससे एम्पथाइज कर पाओगे, या फिर you will say no, like Jalsa, you will say no, I'm going to judge this character, so I'll wait some years to do it?
I don't know. It really depends on how well it's written. And I feel if there is a point where the character realizes the pointlessness of it, I will do it. But if there is no change in the character anyway,
मतलब like Kate Winslet in The Regime,
yeah,
she's a wacko.
yeah.
And so,
Yeah. Who knows? That's true. That's a great example you've given me. She's, actually.
नहीं करोगे, या फिर आपने अपने प्रोफेशन को इतना लिमिट किया हुआ है कि जिनके साथ मैं रिलेट कर पाऊंगी उनके साथ ही करूंगी?
नहीं, मेरे लिए रिलेटेबिलिटी बहुत जरूरी है.
हाँ.
But I find that I'm able to empathize with a lot of people, right? Even with flawed human beings.
Sure.
I can see, I think especially maybe at this point in my life, I'm able to see it more than before. But I don't know how I'll react if offered a role like that. Also because the fear with, it's not just about playing a role well, right? When it comes to these things, see, in The Regime, it's not a real country.
Sure.
It's not a real, so if it was fictional, maybe.
Okay.
But if it was real, if it was rooted in reality, I think I would ask myself some questions before doing it.
But if it is a fictional, I don't know.
Yeah, then maybe, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's...
But how does that change your understanding of the character? If it's India or if it's Bangladeshistan, I don't know, whatever. It could be anything.
No, just that when you're portraying a real, like a rooted character, something that's rooted in a real place, right? Sure. I just think you need to be careful of how you're portraying something or how you may influence something also.
ठीक है, वो आप सोचते हो as an actor.
Yeah.
How your work and how you portraying a character can influence people.
Yeah, like the way I'm subconsciously, but very particular about the way the women I play are portrayed.
Sure.
I don't want them to come across, even if they start out at a certain point, there has to be a graph. There has to be growth. If they're being stagnant, if they're just starting out as something and stay that way, there's no fun
But
in
you're
it.
also saying that they grow in a manner which is agreeing to your progressive value judgment. Because if the growth is towards becoming a more gruesome villain, that could also be growth. But you're not saying that kind of growth is okay with you. You're saying the growth that agrees with your value judgment, if I'm making any sense.
No, you are making absolute sense. Yeah, I think it would be very important for me that the woman, especially with regard to the characters I play, reach a point where they, for example, are no longer suppressed, where they are no longer, whatever the expression of that liberation is. That is fine with me.
Sure.
But it cannot be that they don't have a voice, or if they have a voice and they lose it, and if that, it's growth in either direction, right? But no. I don't
तो
think
आपको ऐसा नहीं लगता कि आपके प्रोफेशन में inherent है that no matter what the job is, if you said yes to it, you have to empathize with the character?
Oh, most definitely. Like, look at Ranbir Kapoor in Animal. What a brilliant performance.
And he has to empathize with it in order to give us that performance.
Yeah, and complete conviction. You know, I think even Kate Winslet in The Regime,
Sure.
absolute suspension of disbelief. That's what acting is all about. So if I commit to something, I will do it. But until I commit, I will ask questions. I want to be fully sure that nothing will stand in the, that I don't want to be standing in the way of my own performance.
Sure.
You know, me as a
Completely.
person.
You can't judge your character.
Yeah. So I don't want to be standing in the way of my character or my performance. So that I want to make sure of. So until I'm convinced, I'll ask the questions. If I'm not convinced, I won't do it.
And there are limitations to characters you can empathize with. Is what we've come to, or is that me overstretching?
I think there would always be certain limitations on the kind of characters one can empathize with. Like I told you, I definitely think I feel more empathy for even flawed characters now. I'm less judgmental, I'm more accepting. But having said that, there will still be some preconceived notions, some prejudices, some fears, some, you know, that will stand in the way.
आप कभी कैरेक्टर नहीं तोड़ते?
मतलब
कैरेक्टर नहीं तोड़ते आप कभी?
क्या करूं, कब तोड़ दूं?
तोड़ दो.
Yeah!
देखा आपने, नहीं हो पाया आपसे. No, ये
एक्टर के लिए अच्छी बात है ना?
ठीक है, सही है. नहीं, अच्छा करते हो. No, you've been as honest as this character allows you to be. Yeah. Well done.
थोड़ा सा आप ऐसे मुझे खुरेद रहे हैं
वो
कि
तो मैं
और
2.5 घंटे से
थोड़ा-
खुरेद रहा हूँ. कुछ तो मिल गया मुझे.
हाँ, बहुत कुछ मिल गया.
You know, the last time I shot in Bombay, same clothes I was wearing in December, I was at Nawazuddin's house
Oh,
and he stood up and he broke a bulb.
really?
So my benchmark is that madness.
Nawaz and I worked together. Kahani was
Kahani to, I think both of yours may be the best performance. Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know what performance you're the proudest of. Which performance? Like Dirty Picture? But I think you've surpassed that already in your career. It might have been your proudest moment then, but you've come beyond that.
I don't know if there's any performance I'm really proud of. I think Ishqiya. You know why? Because I rediscovered myself as an actor on Ishqiya. I'd just done Hey Baby Kismat Connection, got a lot of criticism for it, and I felt like, you know, I also got criticism for it besides the witch hunt about the costumes and the weight and all.
Sure, yeah.
I'm talking purely from an actor's perspective. I just felt like when I watched the film, I felt like I was indifferent. I felt like I didn't give it my all because I felt it didn't demand my all, right? And I said, okay, then if that's the problem, you don't do films that don't demand your all. And that shifted something. And then I went and signed Ishqiya. And Ishqiya made me again fall in love with what I'm doing. Like, not, I was anyway in love with what I was doing, but I think it reaffirmed my passion and my purpose for me. So Ishqiya is very special to me.
And who's your favorite person to share screen with?
I think Manav Kaul and Tumhari Sulu was someone I really enjoyed working with. Farhan and Shadi Ke Side Effects. I enjoyed that. He's a mad hatter.
Yeah?
He's got a crazy sense of humor. Every morning, I'd start my day laughing. Because he'd show me a really bad scene. You know, one of those OTT scenes, he would find gems. Like someone is dying and suddenly they begin to march.
Yeah, I've seen that one.
Yeah. So that's a
Ashok Kumar, yeah.
Clark.
Yeah, Clark, yes.
Clark.
That's a crazy funny scene. Ek, do, ek.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, fun things like that, he would make me laugh. I enjoyed working with Farhan.
लास्ट 3-4 साल में कोई हिंदी फिल्म आई हो जो मन किया होगा यार ये कर लेती शायद अगर काश ये मुझे ऑफर होती नहीं बोलेंगे हम ऐसी बात करते नहीं हम सिर्फ अपने बारे में बात करते हैं
नहीं
फिर
आई हैव नॉट फेल्ट लाइक दैट ओनली अगर किसी का काम अच्छा लगा है तो फिर लगता है नहीं इनके अलावा कोई कर नहीं सकता था
Got it.
और अगर अच्छा नहीं लगा तो
किसका काम सबसे अच्छा लगा लास्ट एक फिल्म देखी हो हिंदी की जो बहुत सही वाओ क्या फिल्म है
आई लव्ड आलिया एंड गंगूबाई I thought she was very good.
Very nice.
I like the kind of stuff Kriti Sanon is doing. You know, just the choices
जो
she's
selection है
making
वो
and
yeah. And what kind of art are you consuming these days?
what kind of?
What kind of art are you consuming these days? It could be reading, it could be watching something.
The past lives?
Sure.
past lives I really enjoyed.
Amazing.
Love on the Spectrum,
Okay.
which is on Netflix,
अच्छा.
where people on the autism spectrum are sent on blind dates. And
Love on the
similar-
spectrum.
Yeah, and similarly, Down with Love, people with Down who are being set up for blind dates. Such delightful content, you know. Of course, reality TV.
Wonderful. I will definitely watch this.
You must definitely watch it,
Yeah.
and it's my recommendation to everyone.
Yeah, sure.
If you want to just watch something pure and unfiltered, you must watch this.
Thank you for plugging my channel's name also.
Oh,
I'm called Unfiltered.
correct. I didn't realize that. Yeah.
yes,
yeah.
yes. मेरा नाम संदेश है.
अच्छा रामायण खत्म हो गए और राम कौन है
दिव्या जी.
बता रहे हैं अभी
नहीं, I'm Valmiki. You are Ram. I'm just writing it. You're the one.
No,
playing it.
dude, I'm Sita. Always Sita.
All right. In that case, yeah, sure. I think Shroopnakha is a fascinating character.
Yeah,
Shroopnakha is the one we should learn to empathize with
yeah.
sometime. Have you read Palace of Illusions?
Yes, I have. Fantastic, huh?
It is wonderful.
But
It's
you
not a-
think
हाँ, क्या
we'll
पूछो?
get to make the Palace of Illusions into a film someday?
Well, you're from the film industry. I would like to ask you. I would like to see it.
No, but with the sensitivity around religious figures,
Yeah.
stuff.
You brought it in, I didn't.
Yeah. yeah.
I thought you would be wanting to avoid it.
My current obsession is a show called The Regime
Okay.
with Kate Winslet.
Kate Winslet. Oh, man.
What an insane actor. What an insane show.
Yeah,
Firstly,
yeah.
Stephen Trials is like, at the age of 83, he's made that show. You know, and he's just, I think with
What she's doing.
diabolical people, he's just crazy. And she, you know, who'd believe that she's the same woman from Titanic or
In
Mayor
the
of
regime,
Easttown?
you can't see Kate Winslet.
Yeah.
She's
Or from, what was that?
reading.
Revolutionary
Revolutionary
Road.
Road,
Reader?
yes.
She's crazy. She's absolutely
crazy.
insane. In between, I began to watch a lot of Malayalam films.
अच्छा.
Yeah.
तो आप मामू का हो कि लालटन हो? ये बता मेरे. I've been told to ask this question.
Yeah.
I have no clue what this means.
No, I've watched more of Laletan's work, Mohanlal's work,
Okay.
because of the comedies he's done. But I also really like Mamuka. Recently watched his film Kadal, and he's so beautiful in it. You know, I messaged Dulkar after that saying, "Will you please convey my message to your father?" Because not only has he acted in it, he's also produced it. So to have played a gay man, you know, for the biggest superstar in Malayalam cinema is, I think there's no better show of acceptance, of support
correct.
for the community, right?
बिल्कुल.
And therefore then opening up minds of others
Sure.
to the same. So I thought it was absolutely
You
brilliant.
missed some of that here.
Unfortunately, I don't think any of our Hindi film actors would be able to do a film like Kadal.
By this you mean male actors.
Yes, male actors. I only mean male actors because I do think that, you know, the female hero is a new concept, right? So, because we've had female heroes even before, but I think it's become de rigueur since about 2008. It's slowly been building.
Sure.
So I think we are experimenting a lot because there's no fixed, there's no formula
Correct.
to achieve or to create a female hero. Whereas for a male hero, you already have the prototype.
There's a set
so
path.
I think there's stuff.
And you don't think the new generation is, whatever the new generation may be, matlab, they're not looking to break that
No,
mold?
I
so to
definitely think, look at Ayushmann Khurrana.
Sure.
You know, he seems quite fearless to me when it comes to trying out new paths and risque parts. And I think he's done that very well. But what I meant by, because Mammootty and Mohanlal are the biggest
वो कुछ अलग ही
superstars
स्टैचर है,
in
हाँ. तो
Malayalam
आप कह रहे हो कि
cinema.
शाहरुख सलमान आमिर वो वाला स्टैचर है,
Yeah,
not to name
yeah.
names, we're not
Yeah,
naming
yeah,
names,
yeah.
but वो वाला
Yeah,
स्टैचर है,
वो वाला
उससे भी
stature.
ऊपर ही है शायद.
Yeah. I just think that it's very tough. यहाँ वो होना बहुत ही मुश्किल नामुमकिन लगता है मुझे. अगर हो जाए तो बहुत अच्छी बात है.
बिल्कुल मजा आ
Yeah,
जाएगा.
yeah.
Do you think the Hindi audience is not as accepting of their superstars maybe playing a gay man? You think that might be a problem?
See, one, we have to accept that it's a more literate audience in Kerala.
Absolutely,
That
sure.
makes a big difference, right? Here, so what is it when you talk of the lowest common denominator that you're catering to? That the texture of that lowest common denominator also is very different in Kerala. So
for sure.
yeah. So I'm not taking away from the fact that he still did it, and which is why I think it's absolutely brilliant. But maybe it is a bit easier there.
It's a reflection of his society.
Yes,
Sure.
it is. It is.
I mean, it for sure
I
is.
think they would be more open to something like this.
Yeah.
And they revere their actors like nowhere else, in the South. They really worship their actors, especially their male superstars. So I think it's that much more creditable that he went ahead and did it. He didn't feel that, would it be a reflection on my machismo or my... Nothing. He's a very
much more
secure
secure
actor.
than that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is the one Vidya Balan film you hate?
Actually, I've not watched Hey Baby more than once.
Hey, bye, baby, bye.
Yeah. But I do think that I didn't have the guts to watch it. So I don't know how I've done in that. I have no perspective.
Got it.
I watched it before release. I didn't watch it. I haven't watched it since.
After that, the reception, at least for you,
Was terrible.
Yeah,
So
I
which
mean-
is why I haven't been able to watch it.
do
So
you think it was justified at all? What they
No, I
did?
think it was a witch hunt. Honestly, it was because
Okay.
when I've seen some stuff.
Were you growing at a much faster speed than they could accept it?
I don't know, but I've
Like,
been.
come on, let me probe here and,
No, but-
and let's give an honest answer. Have you felt that the industry has been unfair to you sometimes because you were simply too good?
I don't know if I was simply too good, but I wasn't. There is. I do think that a few people were threatened. I don't know whether that's because I was too good or they just felt they weren't good enough.
But they did feel threatened.
Yeah, they did feel threatened. So I think there was, I was later given to believe that, because word goes around, right? So you get to know कि बातें कैसी फैली और क्या हुआ and all that, because I'm an old hand here now.
Of course.
Yeah, so I know how it happened, but it doesn't bother me. I'm so grateful for all that, Sandesh, and I'm not just saying this for a quotable quote. I'm so grateful because if not for that phase, I wouldn't have come into my own.
That's wonderful.
I wouldn't have said ki, I'm sorry, but I wouldn't have said fuck you, but I'm here to stay. And no one can take that away from me.
And it is through phases like that that one gets to a I don't give a fuck phase.
Yeah, absolutely. And because I think you reconnect with your passion, your purpose, your dream. You're just like, it's okay यार, किसी के बाप की इंडस्ट्री नहीं है. किसी के भी बाप की इंडस्ट्री नहीं है. उस बाप की इंडस्ट्री जरूर है. बाप की, माँ की. So everyone has a right to be here. And I do think that, I don't want to get into this nepotism conversation at all.
Why though?
Because I just think I feel that whether or not there's nepotism, I've come this far.
Brilliant.
It has not altered my life in any way.
And even if it has in ways that you don't even comprehend,
Yeah.
how does that matter to your
Yeah,
journey?
exactly.
It doesn't matter.
And I'm saying I can, if you look at my life, Sandesh, all the things that didn't happen were actually blessings. So when there were times when I felt like, oh God, maybe this should have happened to me. Maybe it would have been easier for me. Maybe if I had more support, maybe if I had more guidance. But no, I think because I found my own way, I created my own path. That path is mine.
एक example अगर firstly thank you for so honestly telling the process of going through this journey. पर अगर एक वाक्य एक example दे सको of what maybes were going on in your head when Hey Bye Baby Bye or other stuff was happening.
No, I'll tell you what happened at a very celebrated award function.
It was called the Nariyal Awards.
Yes.
Yeah.
exactly. I was given a Nariyal Award for my costumes in Hey Baby.
Yeah.
And when I went up on stage and shared the award with the costume designer, and no, when they told me that they're going to give me the Nariyal Award, and I said, why me? You know, my clothes are not just my choice, right? And at that point, more than ever, I think I was too new to have an opinion on anything.
And it was also a God giving you the award.
Yeah, yeah.
And so,
No, and honestly, when they said, so, you know, we're just doing this fun segment and we're going to give you this award. And I said, fine, but I'll go and share it with
the costume designer.
the costume designer and the director. And I was actually told, no, you mustn't do that. And that, I think, is not nice.
Who told this to Vidya Balan?
Yeah.
Who did this? Okay, let's forget
We
it.
won't get into that.
Okay, but अच्छा एक चीज, क्या आपको उसी रात को बताया गया या उससे थोड़ा पहले बताया गया था कि ये होने वाला अवार्ड शो में?
नहीं, so before that they said it's a fun segment, it's some Nariyal Award. See, I'm a sport. You think my clothes were not good, you give me the Nariyal Award, I was fine. When I reached the award function, I realized what it was.
Yeah.
How another actor whose name had also been mentioned to me, saying she's also receiving it, her name had been cancelled out at the last minute because she said, you know, I'm not going to accept it. So I said, then I don't want to end up looking like a fool.
Man.
You know? And I said, okay, then I'm not accepting it. Or then you give it to all three of us, the director, costume designer, and me. And they said, no. I said, okay, I'll go and mention it. And they said, no. I still mentioned it. And it got me into trouble. Later, there were reactions from, you know, within the fraternity or whatever, their supporters, their friends. But I was, at that night, I have to tell you that I was shattered. I was shattered because I just felt very alone.
Man.
I realized that, yeah, it makes a difference when you don't come from a film family because no one outside you is looking out for you.
It felt like bullying to you?
It did.
And it was.
It was. Undoubtedly it was. And I think it was not nice because you can't protect certain people. And just because I don't come with that shield, you can't. I thought it was a joke, so it was okay, you know. But then when I realized that I was the only one who was being made fun of, I thought that was no longer funny.
Man, thank you for that honesty. क्या पूछूं सवाल? आप सही कर रहे हो, अच्छा कर रहे हो, good. All I want now is for you to break your. आपकी ना body language बहुत ही poised है. It is so graceful and it is so poised. You seem like a polished person who knows how to face public and how to face the camera.
क्या बात है? मैंने polish लगाया.
बुरे humor के अलावा आप बहुत polished हैं. That was very bad.
I would have sat with my feet on top.
रखो.
पर heels पहना दिए मुझे.
उतार दो उसमें क्या है? I can help you with it.
Shall I? पर ये
देख लो मतलब I can also like this.
I'm most comfortable.
ये तो और graceful हो गया.
तो गुंडी की तरह बैठना है.
जैसे बैठना बैठो यार. Favorite गाली? Favorite गाली? देखो आ गए अपनी पोजीशन पे. सवाल सुनते ही आपको कुछ हो जाता है.
नहीं because it's वो जूते उतारना जूते के साथ में इस पे.
नहीं उतारना तो.
नहीं ठीक है.
Got it.
ठीक है.
I'll get my thumbnail if I remove your sandal. Favorite गाली?
Favorite गाली is fuck you.
I felt it.
Yeah.
I felt insulted. I felt insulted.
Yeah, I'm like.
और हिंदी में?
हिंदी में BC बोलती थी मैं पर अपने दिमाग में फिर मैंने कहा कि मैं लड़कियों को ही गाली क्यों दे रही हूँ.
ये भी ठीक है.
हाँ. I stopped saying it when I realized कि यार ये तो चुतियापा है. अपने ही कौम को गाली दो.
ठीक बात है. Favorite मलयालम गाली?
Oh, we don't.
Favorite तमिल गाली? हम लोग गाली नहीं देते आप लोग. इतने literate हो गए.
नहीं लिटरेट की बात नहीं है. We say foolish, अच्छे पिच्छे.
अच्छे पीछे.
But it's not a गाली, huh?
अच्छे
It's just
पिच्छे.
अच्छे पिच्छे अपना पेशा दे. Don't talk like a fool.
अच्छे पीछे ने पेशा दे.
प्राण दायर किया, are you mad? So, but no galis because I think my father and mother both don't give galis. तो हमने कुछ सीखा नहीं. मलयालम तमिल
माँ
में तो
बाप से नहीं सीखते लोग गाली आपको मैं एक बता दूं
नहीं, पर तमिल मलयालम में तो गालियाँ
आपके
सीखी
घर में
नहीं है.
मलयालम बोलते थे या तमिल?
Tamil, but Tamil has a lot of our Tamil has a lot of Malayalam influence.
ओके, गॉट इट.
So even we celebrate a lot of the Malayali festivals also.
अच्छा, आपका फेवरेट फेस्टिवल?
Mission है. Favorite festival is Navratri.
ओके,
Uh,
व्हाई?
I just love that goddess energy at that time. मैं रोज पूजा करती हूँ and one day I call all the women in the family home. हल्दी कुमकुम होती है. So I love
अच्छा.
because it's a tradition started by my mother. My mother does that. Now my sister also does it. And in the past few years, I've also been doing it. We all chant together. And then khana pina hota hai.
It's only women?
Only women. And you, according to the color of the day, everyone comes, wears the same color. Yeah, so it's lovely. Of course, my father, my husband, my brother-in-law are there and my nephew. But besides them, there are no men really.
सबसे सॉर्टेड व्यक्ति कौन है आपकी लाइफ में?
Siddharth.
उनकी सबसे इरिटेटिंग हैबिट क्या? एक हो तो गिनाऊं ऐसा था?
नहीं. Irritating habit, I'll tell you that whatever happens, he has to wake up at 6:45 in the morning and read all the papers. जैसे कि अगर उन्होंने पेपर नहीं पढ़ी तो दुनिया रुक जाएगी. I keep telling him there are days when he sleeps it and I'm like it's okay. दुनिया आपके लिए वेट करेगी.
But he has to.
He has to.
ये तो छोटी सी इरिटेटिंग हो गई.
हाँ.
आप पे कुछ असर नहीं हो रहा इस बात का या होता होगा शायद?
नहीं. The other thing is he'll say, अच्छा, if for example someone sends something नहीं, suppose कुछ पड़ा हुआ है, ये है ना, and I say, Siddharth, so do you want this? So he says, no, I don't want it, you can throw it. And I'm like, why will I throw it? You know, I'll find another use for it. I'm someone who's very high on sustainability like that. Even if it's of no use to me, I will give it to the person
जो इस्तेमाल कर ले.
जो इस्तेमाल कर सकते हैं. But he's like, नहीं, he won't give it much thought. So I'm like, I remember one day he said, you want to read the paper? I said, no, and he put it into the kachre ka dabba and my heart stopped. I said, what are you doing? So he said, नहीं, I'm done with it. I said, yeah, but रद्दी.
वही मैं पूछने वाला था. न्यूज़पेपर डस्टबिन में कौन फेंकता?
हाँ, I guess in offices, I don't know. I remember he did that once and I was appalled. Maybe he wasn't even thinking. He's done that once, honestly, but I'm just saying he can be.
आप पढ़ते
You know, he
पेपर?
did the. नहीं पढ़ती, बिल्कुल नहीं पढ़ती.
वो आप कुछ ऐसे कर रहे थे, उनके बारे में कुछ ऐसे बताने वाले थे.
अच्छा.
हाँ, बताओ ना कुछ और कुछ ऐसा बताओ.
नहीं पढ़ती मैंने कहा.
नहीं, उनके बारे में कुछ बताने वाले थे आप.
नहीं, he's very chilled otherwise.
ठीक है.
He's quite zen. तो कुछ ऐसा.
कुछ मसालेदार कोई गॉसिप की.
मैं कभी ऐसे करती रहती हूँ to get a reaction.
Oh man. चलो आप लाइफ में. बेस्ट बर्थडे कौन सा था आपका?
My 18th.
ओके. क्या किया था?
My sister had a surprise birthday party for me. I didn't know friends were coming over and they came over suddenly and we had a great time. And I remember Macarena was a rage then and we all danced to that and all. We had a lovely time. And then another birthday was my 40th, which Siddharth made really special. He'd even used my face on a lot of other film posters, like funny posters, but also used me in a newspaper cutting, like announcing it's my birthday and, you know, as a child. So as if, just cute things.
Wonderful.
Yeah. He had a cake with all my special characters on it. There's lots of things. I'm missing out on a lot, but he made it very, very special.
एक पूरी डायरेक्शन टीम लगी होगी करने में.
For sure. एक बड़ी टीम लगी थी, बाद में पता चला मुझे कोई खबर ही नहीं थी.
लगी होगी. How many people?
I don't know.
In the party?
Oh, in the party there must have been 50-60.
अच्छा, 50-60 लोग हैं आपकी लाइफ में जो खास हैं.
हाँ.
उतने भी लोनर नहीं हो जितना आप पोर्ट्रे करते हो.
नहीं.
फिर
It's my family. Siddharth's family.
ठीक है.
And Siddharth's friends, my sisters and brother-in-law's friends,
ठीक है.
and my team.
How do you and Siddharth make it work? You seem to have a very healthy relationship. How do you make it work with them?
Thank you. I think
That's as blunt as I can be.
I'd like you to ask him this question, really.
He puts in the work.
No, I just think that, you know, when you want to be with each other, na, you work through things. I think then there's no option. And every other obstacle seems very small and inconsequential. There are, of course, there'll be differences. There'll be differences of opinion. There'll be differences of all kinds, right? But I think we want to be together. And we let each other be. We've not for once tried to change the other. Except with regard to not throwing the newspaper.
That should be a criminal activity. उन पे FIR हो जानी चाहिए. No,
And
not really.
he's going to tell me I did it once and you spoke about it in an interview.
The important question is what newspaper was it?
नहीं वो मैंने देखी नहीं. मुझे फर्क नहीं पड़ता उससे.
दो और दो प्यार. It's called दो और दो प्यार.
Yes.
When is it out?
19th April.
आपका लास्ट थिएटर का रिलीज क्या था?
Niyat last year, which
Okay.
didn't do well.
Okay.
And before that it was
बेवकूफ
Mission.
ऑडियंस है.
नहीं ऑडियंस कभी बेवकूफ नहीं
नहीं, वो
होती,
तो एक
बहुत समझदार
एकदम
होती
मजाक
है.
किया
नहीं, but before that it was Mission Mangal in 2019.
Pre-COVID?
Pre-COVID, because in 2020 I had Shakuntala.
हाँ.
During COVID.
ठीक है.
Sherni.
हाँ.
Jalsa, all during COVID. So all on OTT.
All Prime ना?
All Prime.
हाँ. All Prime. पर खैर ये थिएटर का रिलीज हो रही है
Yes.
तो मतलब काफी टाइम बाद हो रही है.
हाँ, एक साल बाद.
Yeah.
पर
How was that shoot?
that shoot was fun. It was absolutely lovely because I wanted to do something light and happy.
Okay.
You know, I think that's my frame of mind now.
Clearly, yes.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's working for you.
Yeah, and you know, more than anything else, I was fed up of seeing the dark, intense thriller stuff on OTT.
ठीक है.
जहाँ इंसान की जिंदगी की कोई कीमत ही नहीं है, सब एक दूसरे को शूट ही कर रहे हैं. गोली से उड़ा दो. I was like, what the, you know?
हाँ, उस एक्शन में भी कोई ज्यादा नुआंस ज्यादातर चीजों में कुछ कुछ में मिलता है पर ज्यादातर में सच में सिर्फ यही है सेक्स और एक्शन.
या रियली, एंड सबको ऐसा ही लगता होगा कि हिंदी हार्टलैंड जो है बहुत ही वायलेंट है. It's like everyone who's telling these stories has made it look so violent.
Yeah.
You know, there are no happy stories that they're telling in the Hindi heartland. So I think I just got fed up. And when this story idea came to me, actually it was 2018. In the middle of saying yes to all the other films that I had said yes to, I was most excited about Shakuntala because, again, she was a larger than life woman who wanted so much out of life, right? Genius, blah, blah, blah. But the way the script had been written, I just thought it had a lot of life and color and joy. Then this came to me, and I loved the idea. Because just think about it, a lot of, I don't want to call it dysfunctional. A lot of couples today are facing the stresses of modern life, right? Modern relationships. And then what do? You know, today, also because of social media, sometimes you flirt with the idea of being with someone else. Sometimes virtually, sometimes really.
Sure.
So, but when I heard the idea, I was like, wow, this can be so funny, you know, and I was dying to do a rom-com. It's one of my favorite genres.
It's out and out funny film.
Yeah, it's a rom-com.
ठीक है.
So
Got it.
there's everything. There will be intense moments also,
ठीक है.
but there's generally the tone is very light-hearted, and I think that director has really.
She's first time now.
Sheersha Guha Thakurta, yes, but a very well acclaimed ad filmmaker.
Okay. How much time? Are we out of time? अभी तो बात शुरू हुई थी. Thank you, Vidya.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being so open with your time and with your thoughts and just for being so honest.
I enjoyed this. I felt like I didn't even realize the interview kab shuru hua hai.
As it often
I
happens.
love this format, and I love the way you actually, what is the word? Dig things out of people
That's the
without
idea.
them knowing it.
That's the idea, yes.
Yeah.
That's the willing suspension of disbelief. You
Yeah.
know it, but you choose to not know it.
Yeah. Unfiltered, truly.
Yes. with Sandesh, by Sandesh.
With Samdhish, by
Unfiltered
Samdhish.
in that camera.
हाँ.
That is our master, which is very far today. I wonder why that is. Maybe it's a 24. In that camera, how your experience was?
Yeah.
और अपनी फिल्म की थोड़ी प्रमोशन कर दो और बोल दो कि Unfiltered by Sandesh को लोग सब्सक्राइब करें.
हाँ,
तो बताओ फिर उस कैमरा में.
सी आपको ना 2 चीजें करनी है. एक तो 19th अप्रैल को 2 और 2 प्यार देखनी है. 19th अप्रैल से लेके कभी भी
जब तक हॉल में लगी हुई है.
जितनी बार आप देखना चाहो देख लो. और दूसरी बात, सब्सक्राइब टू अनफिल्टर्ड बाय समदीश बिकॉज आई जेन्युइनली एंजॉयड दिस इंटरेक्शन. इतनी बातें किसी ने मुझसे नहीं उगलवाई है, तो दोनों का काम हो जाएगा ना.
सही बात. Thank you, Vidya.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. This was lovely.
This was lovely.
I wish I had more time though.
I don't mind coming back another day. You will have to come from Delhi.
No, I'll come whenever you're in Delhi.
Done.
या कैमरा पे तो अभी आप यही बोलोगे. अब 10 मिनट में मुझे भूल जाने वाले हो.
नहीं बिल्कुल नहीं.
सिद्धार्थ को बता देना बस मेरे बारे में.
हाँ बिल्कुल.
Yeah.
I'll tell him that at some point he should do an interview with you if you're ever wanting to.
No, of course I would want to.
Because
Of course I would want to. Yeah. My producer just gave me a thumbs up. He's like, हाँ सिद्धार्थ तो करेंगे.
he'll tell me, what have you gotten? He's very private. I'll be sitting there prompting him. And then he'll say, you only do it.
But thank you.
Thank you.
Everyone clap for her, please.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
This was the most chilled setup for an interview. Thank you.
Thank you.
God bless you.
Thank you so much.